Hello everyone, welcome to PCD Vinyl World. Today I wanted to do something that really haven't seen much of, or this band talked of a lot on YouTube, and I wanted to rank the albums of the Knack. So you might say, oh, aren't they like some one-hit wonder of My Sharona? They actually have 6 albums. A lot of people don't know that. They initially released 3 and had broken up for a long time, got back together and put out 3 more between, I guess, like 93 and 99 or so. Yeah, technically I guess they are a one-hit wonder, even though their second album like shipped platinum, didn't really have any hits on it, but everyone really just remembers them for that one song. And they're much better than that. They have like a very harder edge power pop sound, so if you're into like Cheap Trick and those type of bands, you should probably check out their albums. Other than that, you like I said, you probably know My Sharona, but you should probably check these out. They released a total of 6 albums, sort of like 3 in the 80s and 3 in the 90s. We're going towards the later 90s. So coming in at number 6, I'm picking their 3rd album, Round Trip. This one is a little bit different as far as their songwriting. It's not really, I would say, completely power pop. They were trying to experiment on here a little bit. But none of the songs really grab me like some of the other albums. Probably my favorite song on here is Just Wait and See, which supposedly is a leftover from their first 2 albums. And that's a really good song. It's actually one of my favorites from them. But, you know, the album is pretty good. The second side is much better, I think, than the first. A lot more experimentation. Supposedly they broke up like a couple weeks after this was released. It was pretty much a flop. I don't remember hearing about this album at all. Or having any videos or anything on that. Coming in at number 5. It's 2001 was their last album. This is Normal as the Next Guy. And, you know, this is pretty good, solid album. A lot more acoustic stuff on here, moodier stuff than the other ones. That's why I'm ranking it lower. Awful album cover. I don't really get it, what the connection is. Like, if they're trying to be like 9 Inch Nails or something with this album cover, but so this is their last album released. In case you didn't know, Doug Flieger, the singer, rhythm guitar player, he passed away. So this was their last studio album. But there is a remake of the song One Day at a Time, which is on an earlier album. Both versions very good. Less Girls, Disillusion Town. Again, good songs, good rockin' songs. Their last 3 albums, I believe, are all like independent releases, but they all sound really good, the production. So you should definitely check these out if you can find them. I think the last couple are kind of actually hard to find. Coming in at number 4, this is sort of like their comeback album, Serious Fun. I believe this came out 91. This came out. And this was produced by Don Was, so there really was some effort in there to get a good production on it. Sounds pretty good. I complain about the drums on this one. It has still like leftover 80s drum sound, real echoey. Believe it or not, the song Rocket of Love was a pretty high charting rock song on the rock charts. They made a video for it. I don't remember it coming on MTV at all. I do remember them talking about this album a little bit when it came out. I didn't have it at the time. The only thing about this one is that some of the songs are more actual, almost geared towards arena rock or even like hair metal sound. Not really so much power pop, but if these songs were stripped down and had different production, I think it'd still be pretty good. As I said before, One Day at a Time is on here as well. That's a pretty good song. It's probably why they redid it. Yeah, I'm surprised this wasn't the problem with the Knack, I think, in the 90s is If this album had come out like a year or two later, they might have caught on to that alternative bandwagon and sort of had a resurgence, but this came out a year or two too early. Coming in at number 3, this is their 5th album, and it's called Zoom. This is a pretty good solid album, I would have to say. This came out in '98. Still has this heavy power pop sound, except now this one, the production is really good, and Terry Bozzio from Frank Zappa actually plays drums and was in the band at the time in this album. Pop is Dead, Can I Borrow a Kiss? Harder on You, You Gotta Be There, Good Enough. All good solid songs. I'm surprised it didn't get more airplay like the previous album, Serious Fun. That came out a year or two early. I think this one came out a few years too late. If this came out in like 95 or 96, I think it would have been a pretty good well-selling album. And coming in at number 2, their second one, What the Little Girls Understand, is actually a pretty big seller. It came out and shipped platinum. The only song I think that got some airplay, though, was Baby Talks Dirty. They do a cover of The Kinks' Hard Way, which is from Schoolboys in Disgrace. It's kind of an obscure track to do a cover of. But I had read that this album was actually recorded mostly at the same time as the first album. It's just another set of songs that they had. So if you like the first album, you'll like this one too. A lot of people don't even know they had more than one album, or maybe 2 albums. But yeah, this is kind of like their Van Halen 2, where all the songs were pretty much left over from Van Halen 1 sessions. But still pretty good power pop album. Kind of a shame they didn't. I think they got lumped into the whole, new wave thing, and people didn't really care for them anymore. And that on the cover is the real Sharona as well. And coming in at number 1 is the debut, Get the Knack. And this is a really, really good album. Even if you don't like My Sharona or you dismiss that song, a lot of other good tracks on here. Your Number, Your Name, O Tara, Good Girls Don't. I think Good Girls Don't is probably, along with Your Number, Your Name, probably their other 2 sort of well-known songs. Produced by Mike Chapman, who was a pretty big name producer at the time. So if you've never heard the Knack beyond this album, or even beyond My Sharona, you should definitely check them out if you're a fan of power pop or just regular rock and roll. I think they've also put out, I have a compilation of theirs also, and I think they put out a couple of CDs of like demos and outtakes. But yeah, go check them out. If you like these videos, please subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.